Interesting. Well, I mean, PTI with ESPN, that was pretty good. I think that's still on air.
Yeah, but that's like everybody's favorite buddy sports show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Whereas
I,
we're
I love our new tagline. It's great.
Yeah. So welcome everybody to America's favorite buddy local news show. We're here. We're in hats again. You may remember from days bygone that we had a hat sponsor. We have a new hat sponsor. Check it out. Do you like that logo, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen?
Looks great.
We'll tell you what it is after we dance.
Let's do it.
Art, art. My guy Paul, you have multiple liquids today.
I do. I actually almost always have multiple liquids.
That's what I'm talking
Water,
about.
water and coffee.
Hydration is so important in today's, you know, social and political environment.
Absolutely. Hey, dude, talk about the hats, man. We joined a cult. That's what my
Yes.
family thinks we did.
Well, yeah. Well, uh, have you ever? Do you remember that Office episode where the creepy dude says like, "I joined multiple cults, some as a leader and some as a follower. The leaders get more money, but the followers have more fun." Like, so I think I'm firmly in the follower position if that's the case. But no, this is the Costa Union Club. It is over there on John Sims Parkway, slightly west of me and slightly northwest of you. Um, and basically, it's a place for people like us, entrepreneurs, to get together and kind of uh, enjoy each other's company because sometimes it can be lonely in offices by yourself, and also to just like share ideas. And so, if you have um, a hankering for community, especially with community of like-minded individuals, Costa Union Club. I already think it's going to be really great, and it officially I think opens to us on the 27th ish, maybe.
Yeah, they're aiming for a certificate of occupancy at the end of the month here. But shout out to MJ and David Costa Jr.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones spearheading this. MJ's Coffee will reopen. It'll have a different look and feel and some different products, and maybe not have all the old stuff that you liked, but they'll have a bunch of new stuff. And that'll be the public facing part of the building, and then the rest of it is the Costa Union Club, and it sounds oh so like secretive, but it's really cool. It's got a co-working space. We'll probably do our show from there from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
A conference room that members get to use, and special events. And a bunch of awesome people have already joined. And so if it's something of interest, they're a sponsor. You can go to their website,
Yeah.
costaunionclub.com, I think.
They're also the first Google result for those of you who are so inclined, like me.
Yeah, their SEO is top notch.
Their SEO is 100. I wish I had done
Yeah.
their SEO because then I'd be bragging about it. But no, it's a cool thing and it's a cool environment. And like Paul said, they have a podcast studio in there. They have what they call the upper room. It seats 12, which is very biblical. I like that. The main co-working space is on the top floor, and then there is a secret, space for it's behind a certain piece of furniture, and that's all I'm going to say. But you kind of like enter it very James Bond style, and I like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. You're gonna hear more about it only because we're gonna shoot podcasts from there, and some really cool people have joined, including John Salman from Salt and Light Realty, and they got Steve Shutt from Movement Mortgage, and a lot of other local leaders, including folks from pastors from different churches, and so the variety of folks is really interesting and awesome.
Well,
So let's
excellent.
do
So
it.
let's roll right into the stories. First one I want to talk about is this arrest that took place, and typically we don't lead our shows with arrests because eventually by the end of the week nobody cares. But this one is a little different. Scott Brannon was a former Walton County Commissioner. He was arrested and accused of domestic violence last week. He's currently the Director of Intergovernmental Affairs, which only thing I could find on the Walton County Commission that he represented this piece on were like hiring lobbyists, things like that. So talking to Tallahassee, talking to other governments, stuff like that. Anyway, he was arrested for domestic violence, and there's a lot of people calling for his head over this. A lot of people that say that if it was anybody else, they'd be fired. And I've had several group posts in Facebook talking about how he doesn't show up for work a lot. I can't independently verify that. There's a lot of sign in swipes and sign out swipes. Not enough to be like this guy's showing up to this place every day, but alternative is that he could be working off site like I do often. So there's a lot of controversy swirling this gentleman. Paul, your thoughts?
I mean, I don't have a lot of thoughts because I don't really know what a government affairs director does, and
It's a
seemingly
perfectly nebulous title.
nobody knows what it does. What I can guarantee, based on the picture on the screen, is Mr. Brannon had at least one really bad day.
Yes.
That's all I can
The
verify.
the little nugget that I didn't see on page 2 of the arrest report is his claim that his girlfriend had fallen on the bed, I believe, or fallen into like the side of the bed or something like that to explain her bruises. Uh, there had been other accusations and stuff like this that had happened before. Anyway, hopefully it all gets sorted out. But county commission in Walton County, that next meeting is going to be a doozy. I can tell you that much. They always
Maybe
are.
we'll find out more.
Finally, in a I would say, I don't want to say better run, but here we are. Local government, the city of Niceville, they're working to prepare to enforce their e-bike ordinance. It's one that was passed pretty much county-wide at this point that has rules for teenagers, including helmets and who can ride where and how fast. And the last city council meeting, the police chief Marquez told the public and the city council members, like, hey, these vagabond youths are riding dirty, and it's becoming an issue. And then the next day, the Rocky Bayou Country Club posted a something on social media that basically said, hey, we have groups of vagabonds putting divots. They're not divots if it's a tire tracks in the golf course, and that's very expensive. So stop doing that. Your thoughts on the Hell's Minions, mini Hell's Angels?
I sort of chalk this up to like my youth when like skateboarding was big, right? And like all of a sudden signs went up everywhere, no skateboarding, and then it was like, where can these kids skateboard? Blah blah blah. I definitely think these e-bikes are a bit of a safety issue, so I think policing it in some form or fashion, maybe through education primarily, and then eventually maybe some ticketing. But I really like seeing kids getting around. I really like seeing kids outside, e-bike, non-e-bike. Like I'm all for it, but obviously we have to have some rules and regulations around it for safety and for protection of private property. And so I'm all for those things. But there's been this sort of rash online of like posting kids like basically not doing anything but being outside and being kids, and like claiming that there's something wrong with that. So I definitely don't want to squash the idea of kids being outside.
These errant youths enjoying the out of doors when they should be inside playing their Xboxes. It's ridiculous, Paul. Well, I agree with you for the most part. I think that the one piece of nuance that I would add to that is that a lot of people, adults included, right? We had that guy who was on like a e-scooter last year that got hit by a car, and went to the hospital for a long time. And so it's not just the kids, but when you have like a hybrid, right? When you have something that's not quite pedestrian but not quite automobile, there's a lot of issue there because we haven't created policy to really protect for it yet. I'm interested to see if eventually the state or maybe even the city puts together some sort of like e-bike lane in certain areas where there's high traffic, stuff like that, just to kind of segregate the cars from the e-bikes from the people. Because like when I go running, right, I'll have an e-bike come up behind me, you don't really hear them, and it'll be going 20 miles an hour and blow right by you. And I have cussed very loudly in fear because of the surprise from an e-bike just blowing by me. So I get why people would be ready to enforce these ordinances with vigor.
I mean, I think we also have to educate our kids and just educate people. And so, I'm all for some enforcement and some education, and some rules around this, but let's not make them so tight that kids don't want to go outside and can't do things and be kids. Because, my son right now can pull an epic wheelie on a regular bicycle. I will not get him in an e-bike anytime soon. But the fact that he can do that, I was never able to do that. So, I want my kids to be able to be outside and have a
Are
good
our
time.
kids cooler than we were?
No, I mean, mine are. I don't know about your kids. My kids are definitely cooler than me.
I am pretty cool, so there's something that remains to be seen. Anyway, moving on to our next one, and probably the one that you guys are very excited to hear about. Cynthia West, is she dropping out of the school board race post Thomas Massie election? So, for those of you who may not be familiar with the national news, because frankly, who cares? The school board candidate Cynthia West, who's running for like the Niceville Valparaiso seat, came out and made several accusations against sitting Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky. Not a lot that we talk about. Not a lot of times we talk about Kentucky. But anyway, he lost his primary yesterday. I think it was unexpected. I think that there was a strong challenger, but they still expected the incumbent to prevail. Several people were chalking it up to Cynthia West's. They call it a deposition, but I don't know if I would go so far because there wasn't really, hard proof, evidence, documents, things of that nature provided. No specific allegations were made. But it kind of like when you boil it down, it basically comes to she accuses him, and I got to be very specific because I'm not trying to catch another libel lawsuit. But he gave her money, she claims was for hush money from his cows, and he says that didn't happen. Then whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, she spoke on the Laura Loomer show a couple days ago, saying essentially, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting out of my school board race because so many people are being very unkind to me, making accusations against me." So we asked her about it. Somebody sent me the video, said, "Hey, is she dropping out?" And so I texted her, said, "Hey, you dropping out?" She said, "I don't know yet. I'm praying." And we put the story out, and she commented on the story that basically she won't be bullied. A lot going on there for a school board race.
Yeah, I mean, basically, that's like a weird Venn diagram of like national news and local news coming together. I think it probably all blows over, and Cynthia should probably stay in the race and just continue to be a candidate. I'm not sure this rises to any level of significant scandal, and probably a lot of the negative comments she was getting are from people outside the area who, who think politics is their religion.
Yeah, I mean, this is. I don't really like to cover national politics because, like, why? Unless it has something to do with like our specific congressperson, right?
Yeah.
So for this to be in the school board race was just not something I could have predicted this year. There's a lot going on policy-wise at the school board right now. A lot of things that people want to talk about, but this has definitely taken precedence over policy matters here in the last week or so.
Yeah, for now, but it probably blows over.
I would like for it to very much. Anyway, speaking of interviews that we've done, we have spoken with Cynthia West about her candidacy. You can see everybody there in live color is somebody that we've already interviewed for the August 18th primaries. You can see Gordon Porter there in the middle. His interview is up. Mitch Reed's as well. And then Jim Bagby, I believe we finished, I want to say 2 days ago, putting up everything. It's all up there. The people in green, JD Peacock, a couple other people down there, Jerry Buckman. We have a candidate for tax collector that's going to come on this week as well. So we're slowly but surely we're getting there. And we still have about half of the candidates left to interview. People in yellow being people that we've reached out to and said, yeah, sure, but nothing specific yet. So be prepared for those. And I try to kind of condense them down into summaries of what they said because I know that you guys don't have 3 hours to watch these videos, all of them anyway. And so look for those condensed summaries. And if you have questions, always go back to the original film.
There you go. Stay on top of it.
Well, second to last thing, because I have a little fun chart after this, because people love charts. Isaiah Lamar Luna, one of 4 people accused of murder in the 2022 shooting of 2 men in the Oak Creek shopping plaza. I guess 3 men were shot, 2 were killed. Has been adjudicated guilty of 3rd-degree murder. He will serve at least 10 years in prison. He's already served roughly 4.5. So he could be out in 2032.
Yeah.
But that's one of, I believe, three or four. No, it was four that were on trial in some way, shape, or form for this shooting. You'll remember that an AK-47 style rifle was thrown into the practice fields at Niceville High School. Um, the whole thing was wild. At one point, then Niceville Police Chief David Popwell said that there was a kind of like a whole massive sting operation going on involving these guys, and that's why it was taking so long to get final adjudication. But 4 years is a long time to wait for justice.
Yeah, I mean our judicial system is such a mess, and it definitely took way too long. And this isn't a typical Niceville thing. So big ups to you for kind of rejuvenating the story and kind of keeping on top of it. These type of things don't happen in Niceville very often. So yeah, good to see that there's some accountability. And I guess we have a couple more folks that have to still enter their pleas and seek justice on.
Yeah, so it looks like he got a deal for third-degree murder. He, I think, made some sort of agreement with the prosecution. But fun fact, this was one of the very first stories we wrote at Mid-Bay News. It was the second month of operation for Mid-Bay News. And so I think my son was born later that month. So however tall my kid is how long ago this happened.
Yeah, and we're probably due for a Dylan Deshane update too as well.
Yeah, so Deshane, I believe, has another court date coming up in September. No, it's earlier than that. I think it's August. But I will double check that and we'll put it in the comments. But yeah, there are plenty of other cases to cover as well. So I'm glad this one is off of my docket, as it were. And we can look at, other things that are happening around here. And speaking of other things that are around here, I finally have finished the 2026 Emerald Coast football calendar, my friend. We have roughly, I think, 78 days, or that sounds right, until we are watching football once again. You can see all of your favorite local teams there on the list, accompanied by all of the teams that they will be playing. Paul, which game are you most excited for this season? Do you have a personal favorite?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess Niceville Choctaw, just because it's like quasi local. Also Niceville Crestview. You've been hyping up Crestview a lot lately. So I'm definitely interested in that. I think you should have probably put the Fort Walton Beach Vikings on top. Otherwise, you're going to catch more grief for your graphics, man.
Well, this is in alphabetical order, and I can prove it. And so I'm hoping that it'll be. I will not get in more trouble. But
you did it again. You put Choctaw on top again.
Oy vey. It starts with the C.
I get it.
Oy vey. Anyway, Crestview does look really good this year. I'm very excited to watch them play. I'm also looking with full heart at South Walton. I think they've got a really good chance to run their table this year. They've got some really good games, tough games at home this year, including Pensacola Catholic and FSU High School. I think that they have I guess Bay's away. I think that's going to be their toughest game over there in week 10. So we'll probably be in Panama City a couple times this year to watch Choctaw probably play Mosley, and then South Walton play Bay. And we've gotten permission to show up and do our games there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, big win for Mid-Bay News. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a great football season. Be on the lookout. We'll probably have a final approach to kickoff game day special for each week, where we'll tell you, hey, this is where we're going to be, and here's why, and it should be a lot of fun.
Congratulations to all those seniors out there that go to all of those schools on that list. Graduation week is upon us. And special shout out to my son, Donovan, who's graduating from Niceville High School tonight, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. I saw the chairs out. I'm like, thank goodness it's at night. It's starting to get pretty muggy out there. I wouldn't say warm. I would say muggy.
I think we're going to get cloud cover, which is good, but it's definitely going to be humid, and so we'll all be sweating together. But maybe the umbrella sun covers will be limited this year.
Do you think that it will be cloudy and therefore somewhat tolerable because Donovan has been living right?
I don't know. As the son of a meteorologist, I try not to assign anything to the weather.
but come on, man. That's what the first putting the rocks together and doing the Ouija board kind of stuff that they did in those ancient religions is all about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's what I do know. Like the stadium is going to be packed. People are probably already saving seats somehow. So
Can you imagine? There's like a group of like 10 people just like in the front row, just sitting there all day.
well, I mean, there were definitely jokes of people like sneaking in 2 nights ago and like laying out a blanket or something over some seats. And I talked to one guy at the gym today, and he was like, "I have 17 family members, and we're trying to save seats for." I'm like,
Ain't
I
gonna
think
happen, bud.
I think it's just going to be anarchy. I wish there was a better way to do it. I don't think anyone secretly wants to be outside for these graduations anymore. But I don't know what other choice Niceville has. Maybe
We
going to
could
the.
build the Carrier Dome like at Syracuse.
I mean, I don't even actually think the basketball stadium at Northwest Florida State College is big enough. So
Oh, right.
I
That's
don't
why
know
we got
where
to
you
take
hold
our
it.
half-cent money, right, for the half-cent sales tax and just dump it into an air-conditioned Carrier Dome. And that's what I think anyway. But and special shout out to friend of the pod, former principal Charlie Morello, who I always call Coach Charlie Morello because
He
I
was your
don't know,
coach.
he was. I mean, like in a spiritual sense, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but shout out to him. He's going to be emceeing the ceremonies for he calls them his kids. He was with them for the full 4 years, and so he is going to be able to do that per his.
He's going out because it's his daughter's
That's
graduation
right.
as well. So
So, big night tonight in Niceville proper. And Paul will see you there. He will be taking notes, head counts, and ensuring that you're all there to see it. So,
and I'll probably be sweaty. I'll definitely be sweaty. All right, let's do the outro. Be nice, Niceville.